Good morning, everyone. That's what we're talking about. Hey, I so appreciate you being here this morning. Is this Riverside style or what?
Absolutely.
Think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to clear your minds. Don't worry about the to-do list. Just be in the moment. Think about it. First of all, we're outside. That's who we are. We live in the country. We enjoy nature. That's why some districts, they wouldn't have it outside. And secondly, they would have canceled because it's 32 degrees. That's not our style. We have it outside because we value nature and we're together. The weather's 32 degrees. Who cares? We live in the Pacific Northwest. We love 4 seasons, including winter. This is Riverside style. This is who we are. So thank you so much for being here today for this brief and special ceremony. I want to, in a moment, recognize quite a few people, but before we do that, I just want to talk to our students. So first of all, how about a big round of applause for all of our students who are here today? We decided not to stop school and have everybody out here because there's some learning to do. But at the same time, we have some great student leaders with us. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the life lessons that come from the journey that we've been on. The first one is to be part of something bigger than yourself. If you think about Team Riverside, I often say it's not just a motto. It's not just a slogan. It's a culture. It's a movement. It's about being something bigger than yourself. So you do that now going forward, which could be your school, it could be your family, it could be your church. In this case, it's our district and our community, is to be part of something bigger than yourself. That's what this represents today. The second life lesson is what I call play for the feeling. It's not about the outcome. It's about the experience. It's about the journey. So we think about there's a few of our students who went with us to go check out other schools, Liberty High School in Spangle. We had Snowden Elementary in Cheney. We looked at Glover Middle School in Spokane. The students were with us on the bus along with parents and facilities advisory committee members and community members because we wanted them to have that experience. It's about the journey, right? Too often in our society we think about just the outcome. It's all about winning. It's all about being the best. It's all about getting the results. But the challenge for us is that it's results through relationships. When I think about playing for the feeling, I think about not thinking of the scoreboard, but thinking about the moments you have with your teammates, the moments you have with your coaches, your leaders, the moments that you have with your friends, and you enjoy those moments together. Even Halmy Cascade, who is our awesome contractor, I challenge them when they're building this. They have the outcome of getting it done, but are they in the moment with each other and enjoying the relationships that they have as a company? The friendships, the moments, the learning that comes with this process. That's the second life lesson. The third life lesson is what I call the Riverside swagger. We have confidence that our kids, that our staff, and that our community can achieve greatness. Doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what your zip code is. It's a belief system in ourselves and in each other. And this project represents continued confidence and continued Riverside swagger. My challenge, students, is go forth today and further on, have confidence in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your friends. Believe in your teachers and in your staff. And we will achieve great things. We're only scratching the surface of what we can accomplish in this district and in our schools. The fourth life lesson is have an attitude of gratitude. Showing gratitude, not just thinking about it, but acting on it is great for your own well-being, your own mental health. But don't just think about it, tell people. Go up to your friends, go up to your staff, tell them how much you appreciate the influence they've had on your lives. And I challenge all of us as adults to do that. And that leads me into my attitude of gratitude. I want to thank so many people for helping with getting us on this journey, this playing for a feeling to get to this point today. And that is our Facilities Advisory Committee. So Matt Himley, who's sitting up front, Steve Rogers. Matt is the president of the Facilities Advisory Committee. Steve is the vice president. We have members, also Trudy Gallinger, Kelly Stapleton. I'm looking around, making sure I'm not missing anybody. They're in attendance today, but that's a huge group. So parents, community members representing the community, they're the ones who set the vision of this project. They're the ones that challenge the district to find out ways that we could get this done. They're the ones that checked out all of the schools and all of the needs and determined the priorities. They're the ones that continue to meet once a month, sometimes two times a month, for 2 consecutive years. They've done this. Some of them are going, really? It's been that long? They're going to continue to do that, to paint the vision of where we want to go with our other facilities going forward. So I want all of our Facilities Advisory Committee members to please stand at this time. I say hip hip, you say hooray 3 times. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I also want to thank our board of directors. So the board of directors is so solid in Riverside right now. We are not experiencing some of the major issues that you're seeing in other districts, in our state, in our area, and in our country. It's because they're focused on unity in purpose. Our mission as a school district is to educate our students and better our community. They're focused on that. So unity means bringing people together with different ideas, different perspectives around kids. We all know that families and staff getting along actually has a better outcome for students and their education. That's what we focus on, and our board provides a great model for that. I want to recognize our board. On the far my right is Bob Carroll, our board president. Next to him is Tommy Mowles, Gary Vanderholm, Vice President Scott Ellsworth, and then Jocelyn James, our 5th member, is not able to attend. She apologized. She's ill. So, board, if you could please stand up to be recognized. I say hip hip, you say hooray 3 times. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Thank you, board. Appreciate that. Now, a little more enthusiasm. Let's go. All right, I'd like to recognize the professionals that we've been working with throughout the entire process. And I can tell you that they have been so positive to work with. They're good human beings. They listen well. They're doing whatever they can to meet our individual needs. They treat us like Team Riverside, not like some other district. They're trying to value who we are as an individual community. So I want to recognize first NAC Architects from Spokane. So with us today we have Randy Wilson, the gentleman to my far left, Chris Jetsky, who's been our project manager, Kelly Hendrickson, who is actually a former student of mine way back in the day. And then do we have anyone else from NAC Architects? I think the 3 of them, and then Rob. Rob is actually going to make join our team right now. We're super excited. He's got a great reputation. So I want to say hip hip hooray for NAC Architects. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Excellent. I also want to recognize CBRE. So with us today, we have Rob Gross, who's been our project manager. We also have David Bodine, who is our project executive. They've been fantastic. They like it around here. They recognize that we have something special, and they've worked with tons of districts, and they have just been so open and good, down-to-earth gentlemen that are easy to talk to and easy to work through problems. So I want to, for David and for Rob, I want to say hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! And hip hip. Hooray! Also want to really introduce the team from Halmy Cascade. They're the ones that won the bid. They're super excited about this project. They've been great in the initial stages of working with us already. And so over here to my far left, you can actually put a name with a face as you see them around. That doesn't mean you can go up to them and complain directly. But anyways, no, you can. These are good guys working hard. So we have Andre, we have Mike, and we have Eric from Halme Cascade. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! And then also another big round of applause for our students, but especially the ones, and they're not here today, but the ones who were involved with our actual preparing and going around doing the bus tours, being involved in gathering data. I know Melissa with NAC was great with, and Kelly were great with doing student groups that they were allowed to make decisions, help us about things like branding and also about the design of the projects. And there were about probably 6 students who were directly involved with the planning of that, but also a lot of our students were involved during that initial phase. So for our students at Riverside Middle School, hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! I also want to recognize our design team. So our design team was really behind the scenes on getting after it every week. These are people that were grinding it out, a couple hours at a time, working through some tough decisions about priorities. And in the field right now, it's a little bit difficult to prioritize with some of the costs, some of the supply chain things, and they were just really flexible and open and positive about it. So on our design team, we have Christian Henneke in the back, Mike Kern, great teachers who represented the teaching staff. We have Kendra Workman, Misty Aaron, who we all know really run the school. They were involved on the design team. We have our awesome principal, Mr. Johnson. We also have, in addition to their facilities advisory committee, we have Matt Himley and Steve Rogers, who are also involved in that particular design team. Do we have anybody else here I'm missing? Just double checking. For the design team, hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! And last, I really want to thank this group, because this is a group that's critical to the success not only of this project, but our vision of a long-range facilities plan, and that's what we call our advocacy group. Our advocacy group is that group that goes out in the community behind the scenes and can actually work with the voters on the reasons you would vote yes for a measure. That's not something we can do as a district. We can only provide information on what is in the levy, capital levy, what is, the details. And so I want to recognize a few people. I know not everybody's here, but I want to recognize Janet Kemp, who I often call my life coach. She is a legend in Riverside. She's been heavily involved in the Yes for Riverside. Kelly Stapleton, who's on the Facilities Advisory Committee, also very involved. Stacy Schneider, one of our staff members, very involved in the Yes for Riverside. All of our principals and directors in their private time, personal time, are heavily involved in the Yes for Riverside campaign. We also have, as I'm looking around, Sammy Jo Griggs has been huge in regards to a lot of the prep behind the scenes of that kind of work. And I'm looking around. So anyways, for our Yes for Riverside Advocacy Committee, I say hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! I want to thank Joe Gannon, specifically, our Director of Maintenance, Grounds, Custodial Services, for just being a great positive leader in this area, building relationships with not only our staff and students, but with our community. That trust is so critical when it comes to facilities, because people will support new facilities when they know they have good leadership in the maintenance of the existing facilities. And Joe's been an outstanding new leader for us. He's also a grinder when it comes to just all the work that goes into facilities planning. And I want to thank his maintenance team as a whole, as well as the custodial staff under the direction of Joe Gannon. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! And then lastly, I just want to thank our voters. I mean, obviously, if it wasn't for our voters in the last capital levy in February of 2022, it wouldn't have generated the revenue in addition to our ESSER funds to be able to complete this project. And it's an investment. And so, we, in the middle of COVID, to get 61% approval when you only need 50% is a huge accomplishment. And it should be a testament to that Riverside swagger that I'm talking about. It should build confidence that we're developing trust with our stakeholders, our community. And an interesting fact, I don't know if you know this, but we have about 9,500 voters. And out of our 9,500 voters, there's about 3,500 that actively vote. So it's not a huge turnout. And out of that turnout of 3,500, 70% of what we call the active voters, which means they've voted 4 out of the last 4 elections, are 60 and older. So I think we give mad props to our 60 and older population who aren't even necessarily, in some ways, connected to the schools. They may have had kids who graduated 30 years ago or whatever. Some of them may be grandparents, which is totally true. That's why goodies for grandparents, keep that up, baby. But they may not be connected. So the fact that they're somehow getting the feeling that we're worth the investment, that our kids are worth the investment, because it all comes down to trust, right? And so that's a huge accomplishment, and now we take it to the next level, my friends, in the next 3 to 5 years. So I really want to thank them and recognize them with a hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! And hip hip. Hooray! All right, went over my time as usual, but I want to take this opportunity to transition to a gentleman who's just a gem to work with, just so solid. If my kids weren't all graduated and through, and Shannon and my family who are back there were not empty, if I wasn't empty nesters and I had kids again, I would want that dude to be my kid's principal. This guy is so solid. I want to turn it over to Principal Phil Johnson for a brief comment. I love you.
All right, good morning. So I'm here to represent all the students and all the staff of Riverside Middle School. I'm going to talk about 3 things, okay, just to kind of talk about the project itself. First, safety. That's a huge thing for me, and I think the students here know it, the staff knows it. But when we started talking about this project, we had just a couple issues. One, we have a good issue, and one of the good issues is we got a lot of nice kids here. That's kind of what makes this place special. We have a lot of really nice kids. So nice that when people show up to this door right here, they let them in. And then thankfully, those adults come to the office and we're like, oh, wait, how'd you get in here? Who are you? So that was a little bit of a concern for me, okay, because the front office is in the back. When people call, they're usually in our parking lot saying, hey, we're here at the school, but we can't find the front. I said, oh, you got to go around back to find the front. That's where the front is. It's in the back. So that obviously, needed to be addressed. And so I really appreciate the Facilities Advisory Committee, and looking at safety is really important. And so to be able to put eyes out front so we can see people coming and going, that's important for our staff and our students. So thank you for that first thing. The second thing is the learning environment. And I know that when you're in a good environment, if the paint's not coming off the walls, if your desk's not falling apart, okay, if you're in a good environment, you have new furniture, everything's bright, clean, you take pride in it. If you take pride in it, then you're going to take pride in your learning, okay? And so thank you for the investment, because I know that the pride in learning for our students and the pride in teaching for our staff is going to increase. The final thing I just wanted to mention is what we're looking at behind us is going to be that new common space. So right now, it's something that I see every single day. The kids come in, and there's a little tiny space in front of the gym, and they'll kind of congregate there, but then it's not a lot of room. So then they're spilling out down the halls, and to go get some food, they got to go down to the elementary school. And they love us down there, right, Principal Zamas? I know they love us down there. But at the same time, she's here supporting this just as much, because this is going to be a place for our kids to be down and have their own space. It's hard to build community amongst the students if they don't have their own space. And so that's the third thing. Thank you guys for recognizing that that's a need, and really making that a priority. So just real quick before I turn this over to the next very important person here, I just want to introduce my ASB leaders who or play a key role. We love hearing their input. So just raise your hand real quick there. I got Cade, and I got Dean, Delilah, Josie, Kaylee, and Violet right there. Give them a round of applause. They do a fantastic job. All right, so at this time I'm going to turn it over to the one and only, the best in the West, Mr. Bob Carroll.
I think one of the questions I would have in the community members would be, why the middle school? Why do we do the middle school? We've got these other schools. Well, we're doing some things in this program for the other schools as well. But I'd like to just talk for a minute about the middle school, because in many ways, middle school is the most critical of our educational efforts. What is happening in middle school is you've got young people who are moving from childhood to adolescence. And that is complicated. It's a very, very complicated period of time, and it requires oversight by teachers and administrators who understand that things day to day are going to change, and sometimes radically, with the students. It doesn't all stay constant and the same. You get different people on different days in the same human being. That's just the way it is. And you also, along with that, have got to have teachers who are aware of the fact that the fruits of their labors will not be known to them in many cases. That the development of these human capacities, that's what we say. We say, well, they're developing capacities. Yeah, that's what they are. But they're human beings who are going on a journey somewhere else. And they're going to high school, first of all, and then beyond that. And we can't know when they're in middle school what that's going to mean. And many times what happens in middle school is the beginning of definition of who people are and who they can become. Isn't that funny? How many people in this world find out what they're good at because some teacher told them what their gift was, and they remembered and pursued that? We're all about developing productive adults and engaged citizens. That's really our job. And that requires education, but it also requires young people who know that they're believed in and loved by the mentors who are, at this point in time, the teachers in those rooms. The requirement for flexibility is most readily exemplified by Phil Johnson. I can tell you that it takes a special person to be a principal of a school like this, and Phil is the guy who does that and does it so well. But it requires a stretch on his part, because he's got to accommodate the changes in not only the teachers but the atmosphere of the whole school.